Good day from Wall Street. This is Jack Marks for Wall Street Reporter. Today I am joined by Dr. Raza Bokhari. He's the CEO of FSD Pharma. Stock symbol is HUGE, H-U-G-E. That's on the CSE, and FSDDF, over the counter. Dr. Bokhari, welcome.
Thank you for having me on your program.
Absolutely. Why don't we start off with maybe like an overview of FSD Pharma's business model for anybody that may not be as familiar with the story right now?
Well, thank you. Well, we are a licensed producer of hydroponic cannabis producers out of north of Ontario in Coburg facility. We are legally the largest potentially cannabis producers in Canada. We have potentially 3.9 million square feet of contiguous land that we can grow as a hydroponic facility. So we take great pride in that we have a lot of real estate where we can cultivate to provide recreational cannabis and also provide cannabis for edible purposes as we go through and acquire our sales license in that segment of our business. In addition, by virtue of our name, FSD Pharma, we have a strategic interest to also focus on the medicinal aspects of cannabis, and have right from the outset made some very strategic investments in companies like Kentab, which produces tablets of cannabis-based tablets. We also made investments in companies like Sycan, which are doing research and development in finding cures and treatment in terms of ailments for inflammatory bowel disease, for some stomach ailments, and other areas. We have, I think, put $2 million in that. And in addition, just recently, we announced acquisition of a NASDAQ-listed company called Therapix Biosciences that actually has 4 compounds in synthetic cannabinoids that is pharmaceutical grade R&D research in place. So as an entity, as a company, we have a worldview of being the largest hydroponic cannabis producer for recreational and edible purposes, and also be the global leader in pharmaceutical research and development through our acquisition of Therapix Biosciences, which we will continue on, and we are looking to assemble world-class leadership in terms of advancing our mission and vision.
Okay, so let me first ask you about the facility in Coburg. What makes this facility unique? What kind of competitive advantages do you have, and what kind of capacity will this have?
So this is we acquired the former Kraft cheese factory in Coburg, which is an hour or so north of Toronto, in Coburg, Ontario. And this is a facility that has the zoning and license to grow indoors and cultivate cannabis up to 3.9 million square feet, all in contiguous one location. In our first phase, we are developing 650,000 square feet of our, that's our first phase 1 completion that we are hoping to complete, I think, by year 20 end of year 2019 or by sometime in 2020. So that is our phase one plan. But unlike other companies like Canopy Growth that has 2.9 million square feet of cultivation available, but that is all spread out across in Canada because they have bought or have they are all spread out. So we have one contiguous land. Second advantage that we have is this: in this particular business, it is a very dependent on energy. So it is we have our own substation on our premises. I think we can light up the entire city of Coburg and beyond. So that is a big advantage that we have in our facility that others don't have through our own substation for purposes of energy and electricity. Number three, in our facility, we have a rail track that comes into our facility. So for purposes of logistics and transportation purposes, we could have all this mass distribution would be very easy and quite effective in terms of when our cultivation and harvesting is at full scale. The distribution through a railway track that comes into our facility and is connected to the main track in Ontario. So that is a great advantage, competitive advantage that we have. I think that we will benefit from. And in addition, we have also made some vertical investments in companies like High Tide, which has all the dispensaries across in different parts of Canada, and we have made investments. And in shelving space, we would have like the top shelf space for our products in the recreational piece to be displayed because of our strategic investment that we made in High Tide. So these are the things where we as a company have a competitive advantage over in this very crowded space of other companies.
Okay. And what kind of capacity what kind of production capacity will this have by I think you said by next year it'll be actually when do you expect the first production to start coming on stream?
So the first production is Oxley is our developing partner. They are finishing the first 200,000 square feet of of our land is being developed, and I think that is supposed to go into production mode by I think they have said in Q1 of 2019. When that 200,000 square feet is cultivation begins, that would begin to generate 40,000 grams of 40,000 grams of cannabis. I hope my math is correct. I'm speaking a little bit, off the cuff, but I think it's 40,000. Yes, 40,000 grams of. So every 100,000 square feet can generate 20,000 grams of cannabis. So you can do the math. So by the time the entire 3.9 million square feet is developed over the next few years, that actually you can just do the math. The amount of cultivation capacity that we have.
Okay. Now, what's the distinction between the different growing methods? There's the indoor greenhouse. Can you explain what the difference is?
I think it will be better answered by our growers, but the hydroponic growth, which is through the standardized settings that are grown under GMP standards, and there are these infrared lights that we are trying to deploy. That actually gives us some advantages. I have to be careful what I say because little knowledge could be a dangerous thing. I need to be better briefed to specifically answer, but we are trying to do things in a manner that where we can get a better yield and a better quality cannabis to develop that actually has a little, high grade of a yield, so that as the pricing pressures come into the marketplace and the prices drop, our hope is that we will be able to somehow be able to still generate and produce a high quality cannabis that would still fetch a higher price.
Okay. That kind of leads into my next question on with so much, the production schedule to come online, in the next, I don't know, 18 to 24 months, what kind of challenges do you see, and how are you positioning the company to, to meet those challenges in terms of pricing pressure, etc.?
Listen, this is groundbreaking stuff. It is purely speculation that how it will impact, but anything, the demand level, since this is in Canada, it is going through a legalization, or has become legal. So from a recreational perspective, its utilization into in edibles, the use into recreational use, and how much you can really carry, and still there are local laws in different states and different provinces, how they are working. So there are so many variables which are in play, and there are so many other players which are there, and there is also consolidation going on within the industry. Like different LPs or licensed producers are looking to merge and join hands. So I think that it is early to say that who will be standing, and how the dust will settle, and what impacts it will have on the marketplace 18 to 24 months from now. Right now, Health Canada has challenges in issuing sales licenses. They are overworked and perhaps understaffed. So there are all sorts of issues in play. So this is a new industry which is taking shape. So anyone that believes and says that can predict where the pricing would be, or where the market would be in next 18 to 24 months, really is a Mensa candidate way above my pay grade.
Well, I appreciate your honesty here. All right, so can you tell us? You start off telling us about some of the partnerships, but maybe you can go into some more detail about the partnerships, the joint ventures that you have, and what kind of news flow we can expect to see from them in the next 12 months.
For us, besides our focus in making sure that we become the best of class licensed producer of recreational and nutraceutical cannabis producer, our great excitement is to make big advances in terms of just research and development in pharmaceutical grade synthetic cannabinoids. Number one, through our intended acquisition of Therapix Biosciences, through that acquisition, which we have announced, where we are making this acquisition, and we are the only company in that is in the hydroponic cannabis space that has gone on and have actually acquired a full-blown and mature research and development company that is focused on the synthetic molecule, cannabinoid molecule, and we are very proud of that announcement and that acquisition. There are 4 compounds. These compounds are advancing the work of the father of medicinal cannabis, Dr. Raphael Mechoulam, who is a world-renowned Israeli scientist who was the founder of the entourage effect that really has advanced the research work and the role of cannabinoids in treating and also to some extent finding cure of certain illnesses that otherwise were unintended, were left were not really well treated, especially disorders of the central nervous system around diseases like epilepsy and diseases such as chronic pain, and also work around fighting and finding a better solution to fight the opioid epidemic, which is a pandemic certainly across the Western Hemisphere and other parts of the world, especially in the United States and Canada. So that is where we believe that we have a lot of excitement and interest and attention that we want to pay in terms of perhaps becoming a bigger and a better GW Pharmaceutical, because GW Pharmaceutical is the only company that has just brought to market a cannabinoid-based medicine to treat pediatric epilepsy. So we are very hopeful that we can work on those lines and create a pipeline of drugs, and I hope that we can create better outcome for some of a host of patients that are otherwise suffering from these debilitating illnesses that don't have presently don't have a good cure or a treatment.
How much of a focus on the medical side of cannabis do you see going forward? Like what percentage of the company will the medical side of the business be focused on, I don't know, the next 2 years?
We believe that we are in the process of, stay tuned, we are in the process of assembling, strengthening our leadership team. We are going to hopefully before the end of this quarter announce addition to our leadership team some very remarkable names that should give some very strong indication our commitment to our pharmaceutical efforts. And with the specific respect to your answer, we have to proportionately focus our effort. We also have already demonstrated our intention to get a full NASDAQ listing. We made it known to the marketplace, I think sometime with my just joining the board. I think that was I'm the first American that had joined the board. I hope that the people in Canada don't hold that against the company. There are more Americans, I guess, will be joining the board, but we are going to strengthen this board with all the right and appropriate people. and hopefully that would demonstrate that we are going to get a NASDAQ listing and strengthen our balance sheet and appropriately focus on our uh, uh, our uh, our cannabis just growth, indoor growth, because that is a core line of business for us, and we have a lot of land, and we have unmet need in the recreational space. But there is a big interest and a pronounced interest. I cannot emphasize enough the interest of the founders and the board of FSD Pharma. And I also understand some of its major shareholders that we must focus on the pharmaceutical role of cannabinoids, and that is the strategic direction that we will be doubling down on, and just every day and twice on Sundays.
Okay, so that leads into the next question. Can you tell us about, your background and, also some of the key members of the management team right now?
I am a physician by basic training. I am also have been over the past nearly 3 decades have been involved in the healthcare services and especially the diagnostic space within in the United States. I have built more than few companies from ground up and have built them at a national and also with a global footprint, and have sold them to either private equity funds or to public companies, and along the way have built a little bit of name. And presently, I chair a company where I am also solely invested in a company that is nearly a 50-year-old company in the United States. That is a specialized company that does addiction screening and opioid prescription monitoring service, company called PCL, where we also test for designer drugs, including synthetic cannabinoids, and help fight the opioid epidemic. So for me, this was a very easy vertical integration to get involved in FSD Pharma, especially when we are now looking to look into the pharmaceutical aspects of research and development, looking to find some probably a drug that could help fight chronic pain and perhaps opioid addiction. I have also business credentials. I went to Fox School of Business at Temple University. I chair the board of the Fox School of Business also for past few years, and I think for nearly a decade now. And I also have some interest in public policy and try to participate in public discourse through political integration. So that is, in a nutshell, is my background, sir.
Okay. Maybe if we can just circle back to the Therapix acquisition. Like, what is it? What was like the reasoning behind it? What attracted you to this company, and what kind of value do you see being created from this going forward? Maybe if you can talk about the pipeline that they have.
Yeah. So Therapix Biosciences, we had retained an advisor to identify for us, since we as a company, while initially, like other licensed producers that have made investments into supporting research and development. We also made some investments in some companies called Sycan, but we thought that unlike others, our competitors that didn't really go and did a full-fledged acquisition, we should actually commit ourselves to the synthetic cannabinoid R&D research and identify certain target companies. And in that process, we looked at about 4 companies that were publicly traded companies on NASDAQ because we wanted to look at companies which were in the public domain. So because we wanted to also see that whether we could acquire them through a stock purchase and put to test the strength of our the value of our and the strength and the resilience of our stock. So that was important for us because there are whether we are overvalued or undervalued or to what extent anybody could be. A good test of that is this: if there is someone through an acquisition is willing to take 100% stock from us, that usually is a good litmus test that you have a strong and a resilient stock. So we wanted to put that to test, and we had looked at 4 targets. And Therapix Biosciences was and is a company which is a company that came onto NASDAQ about a year and a half ago, and has been doing some very good work on 4 compounds around the entourage effect, advancing the work of Dr. Raphael Mechoulam, who is viewed as the father of medicinal cannabis. And they have 4 compounds. 2 of them are in phase 2A clinical trials, and 2 of those compounds are in phase 2B clinical trials. So we found them to be very attractive, and they were trading at about $4 or so,
And
and their market cap was about.
what markets are
Sorry,
these?
go ahead, sir.
What markets are they addressing? These compounds?
These compounds are dealing with obstructive sleep apnea. They are also dealing with chronic pain, and they are also dealing with some cognitive impairments. So diseases and also I think there is one of the compounds is also dealing with some infectious disease. So obstructive sleep apnea, Tourette syndrome, and infectious disease, and some antimicrobial therapy, and I'm forgetting one of them, but that is what their focus has been, and so they are, and chronic pain. So these are the 4 areas where their compounds are. Their trials are in, and their market cap was at the time when we made the offer was about I think fluctuating between $15 to $20 million, hovering around $15 million. We made them an all-stock deal of $48 million of our stock, and they accepted our offer, which we thought was a remarkable milestone for us. That for a company to receive no cash from us, but wanted to just align themselves with us and become part of the FSD Pharma journey through a stock transaction. So we feel really very good about this intended acquisition. So we announced a binding letter of intent. I think on October 22nd, 23rd, we are in the process of working through the due diligence process. Actually, I leave for Tel Aviv later this evening to physically visit the facility, and we are on track to sign the definitive agreement and then sometime in Q1 of 2019, we would finalize the transaction and just continue finalize the entire merger, and hopefully we'll have some additional good news to share with the marketplace.
Okay. And what do you have your eye out for other M&A opportunities in the medical space in the next 12 months?
The short answer is yes. We have an eye out around the clock, sir. We are looking for in a thoughtful, deliberate manner. We just don't want to be. We want to finalize. We also understand our capacity and the strength of our team. So as we expand our leadership team, we have a investment banking advisory out of New York that is helping us identify these things. But we, in a stepwise fashion, want to do these things. We just don't want to we are into quality stuff, not quantity. So we don't want to assembling and assimilating people. I have been part of some of these things in last 20 plus years. So we want to demonstrate a successful outcomes. So not create any disappointments. But to answer your question, yes, we have want to build a solid pipeline of compounds to support the research and development of the role of synthetic cannabinoids in treatment and hopefully in cure of certain diseases. We also have to correlate that with our cash and our cash reserves, and also have to correlate and correspond that how we are able to raise and finance these acquisitions, and especially how we can invest in this research and development. But a little good news for us is this, that as soon as we can get our sales license from our on our recreational side, and we can have our crop is harvested, and we can also start to generate some revenues within the company from our recreational piece, we will be able to reinvest and invest some of our dollars that we are going to be able to generate towards our pharmaceutical R&D efforts.
Okay. And what kind of key milestones over the next 12 months can investors look forward to? What are some of the key events that we can expect to see?
On the recreational side, sir, we hope that we can get our sales license. That's extremely important. The sales license for a licensed producer is the key. If we don't have a sales license, we cannot generate revenue. We, number two, want to, on the recreational side, want to make sure that we are on track to develop for the 650,000 square feet of the 3.9 million square feet of land that we have. The first 650,000, a substantial part of the first 650,000 square feet is developed, and cultivation is in place. That's an important milestone that we hope that in the next 12 months is achieved. On the pharmaceutical side, we hope that that our acquisition of Therapix Biosciences is finalized, is complete, and we continue to augment and strengthen the research and development facility, the efforts of this company, and hopefully we can add some additional compounds into the mix to strengthen their efforts. Number three, we want to make sure that we have a leadership team in place at FSD Pharma, which is the best of class, that is where my name is, in comparison to all the people that we have assembled, I look pale compared to all the heavyweights that we are looking to assemble in this company. So that is extremely important. And I think in the next 12 months, you would see a remarkably experienced and a very vibrant leadership team in place at FSD Pharma. And number four, you would also see a board of FSD Pharma populated with predominantly independent directors who would represent all the relevant aspects that create just the right optimization and value that is needed at a board level to provide governance and oversight and leadership that is required to navigate this company to realize its full potential at a global level.
Okay, well, on that note, I want to thank you, and we look forward to following the FSD Pharma story in the months ahead.
Thank you so much for having me on your program.